Gratitude is a powerful force that shapes the way we see the world, the way we interact with others, and the way we connect with our Creator. It is more than just a polite habit or a social courtesy. It is a deep and transformative attitude that can change a person's entire outlook on life. In Islam, gratitude is not merely encouraged. It is an essential part of faith. A believer's relationship with Allah is built on recognizing His countless blessings and responding with gratitude. Without gratitude, the heart remains blind to the beauty and mercy that surrounds it. To understand gratitude, one must first reflect on what it means to receive something without having earned it. Imagine being given a house, fully furnished, in a beautiful neighborhood, with no mortgage or rent. The only condition is to call the benefactor 5 times a day and express thanks. Wouldn't that be a reasonable request? Any rational person would see it as an easy condition. Yet, when we shift this perspective to the life we have been given, many of us forget to express gratitude. Our existence, our ability to breathe, think, see, and feel, all of it is a gift. We did nothing to earn the heart that beats within us, the air that fills our lungs, or the senses that allow us to experience the world. Everything we have is a blessing from Allah. Yet how often do we sincerely thank Him? Gratitude in Islam is not limited to words. It is an attitude and a way of life. It is found in every act of worship, in every moment of reflection, and in every interaction with the world around us. When a person truly understands gratitude, they begin to see the world differently. Instead of focusing on what they lack, they appreciate what they have. Instead of being consumed by desire, they find contentment. This mindset not only brings inner peace, but also strengthens one's relationship with Allah. The more a person acknowledges their blessings, the more they feel connected to their Creator, and the more they realize how dependent they are on Him. Gratitude also shapes the way we treat others. A person who is grateful is naturally more generous, kind, and patient. They recognize that their blessings are not meant to be hoarded, but to be shared. Gratitude teaches humility, for it reminds us that nothing we have is purely from our own doing. Every success, every opportunity, and every moment of happiness is ultimately a gift from Allah. This realization cultivates a sense of responsibility, pushing a believer to use their blessings wisely and to help those who have less. Islam teaches that gratitude is not just a virtue, it is a key to a fulfilling and meaningful life. It is a source of peace and contentment, a shield against arrogance and greed, and a bridge that connects the believer to their Lord. The more one practices gratitude, the more they realize that it is not just about saying thank you, but about living in a state of appreciation and acknowledgement of the countless blessings that fill every moment. Gratitude in Islam is not merely an expression of appreciation, but a deeply rooted principle that defines a believer's relationship with Allah. The Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, emphasize gratitude as a defining trait of a righteous person, highlighting it as a path to divine blessings, spiritual elevation, and inner contentment. From the very beginning, the Quran instills the idea that human beings are inherently dependent on their Creator and that recognizing His favors is a fundamental aspect of faith. The contrast between gratitude and ingratitude is a recurring theme, illustrating that those who acknowledge Allah's blessings are rewarded, while those who are ungrateful face consequences, both in this life and the hereafter. One of the most powerful statements in the Quran regarding gratitude is found in Surah Ibrahim, where Allah declares, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase your favor, but if you deny, indeed, my punishment is severe." This verse encapsulates the essence of gratitude in Islam. Not only is it a virtue, but it is also a means of increasing one's blessings. The promise of increase is not limited to material wealth. It extends to peace of mind, guidance, and spiritual fulfillment. Gratitude is a key that opens doors to greater blessings, yet many fail to realize its significance. Instead of appreciating what they have, people often dwell on what they lack, losing sight of the countless favors they receive every day. The Quran frequently reminds people of the numerous gifts they take for granted, from the vastness of the heavens and the earth to the intricacies of the human body. It calls upon believers to reflect on these blessings and recognize that everything they possess, life, health, sustenance, and even their ability to perceive and understand, is granted by Allah. The natural world itself is a testament to divine generosity, yet many remain heedless. In Surah An-Nahl, Allah states, "And if you should count the favors of Allah, you could not enumerate them. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful." This verse serves as a reminder that no matter how much one attempts to acknowledge the blessings of Allah, they will never be able to fully comprehend or repay them. The sheer magnitude of divine mercy and provision is beyond human comprehension. The life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, further reinforces the importance of gratitude. Despite enduring immense hardships, he remained deeply thankful to Allah, demonstrating gratitude not only through words but through actions. One of the most well-known incidents highlighting this occurred when Aisha R.A. observed the Prophet praying long hours at night until his feet became swollen. When she asked why he exerted himself so much despite being free of sin, he responded, "Should I not be a grateful servant?" This statement reflects the profound connection between gratitude and worship in Islam. Gratitude is not just about acknowledging blessings, but about using those blessings in a manner that pleases Allah. It is an ongoing act of devotion, a recognition that every moment, every breath, and every ability is a trust that should be honored. Beyond verbal expression, gratitude in Islam manifests through actions. Prayer, fasting, charity, and kindness are all forms of gratitude. The 5 daily prayers are not just obligations. They are opportunities to pause and reflect, to bow in humility, and to express thanks for life's countless blessings. Giving charity is another way of showing gratitude, as it acknowledges that one's wealth is not solely theirs, but a provision from Allah meant to be shared with others. Fasting, too, deepens gratitude by instilling empathy for those who lack basic necessities, reminding believers of the value of sustenance that they often take for granted. Gratitude also serves as a safeguard against arrogance and entitlement. The Quran warns of those who become heedless of their blessings, attributing their success solely to their own efforts. One of the most striking examples is the story of Qarun, a man blessed with immense wealth who arrogantly claimed that his riches were a result of his own knowledge and efforts. His failure to recognize Allah's role in his success led to his destruction, illustrating that ingratitude breeds arrogance and ultimately leads to downfall. This serves as a timeless lesson that no matter how much one achieves, they must always remain humble and acknowledge the true source of their blessings. At the heart of gratitude lies the recognition that everything, whether perceived as good or bad, comes from Allah and serves a purpose. Even in hardships, there are hidden blessings, lessons to be learned, and opportunities for growth. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, taught that a believer's state is always praiseworthy. When they experience ease, they are grateful, and when they face difficulty, they exhibit patience, both of which are rewarded. This perspective transforms the way a person views life, making gratitude not just a reaction to favorable circumstances, but a constant state of being. The emphasis on gratitude in the Quran and Sunnah reveals that it is not merely a moral value, but a principle that shapes a believer's mindset, actions, and relationship with their Creator. It is a means of drawing closer to Allah, a source of peace and contentment, and a path to increasing one's blessings. Those who cultivate gratitude find themselves more connected to their faith, more compassionate toward others, and more appreciative of the countless gifts they have been given. Gratitude in Islam is not merely an abstract feeling or a polite social convention. It is an essential act of worship that strengthens a believer's connection with Allah. Worship in Islam is not confined to rituals or acts of devotion performed in the mosque. It is a way of life, an ongoing acknowledgement of Allah's infinite mercy and blessings. Every act of worship in Islam carries within it an element of gratitude, making thankfulness not just a desirable trait, but a fundamental aspect of faith itself. Prayer, the most important pillar of daily worship, is a direct manifestation of gratitude. The 5 daily prayers serve as a continuous reminder of the blessings bestowed upon us, an opportunity to pause and express appreciation for the life, health, sustenance, and guidance we receive. Each unit of prayer begins with the recitation of Al-Fatiha, which opens with the words, "All praise is due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds." This phrase sets the tone for worship, reinforcing the idea that a Muslim's first and foremost duty is to recognize and appreciate their Creator. When a believer bows and prostrates, they are not only submitting to Allah, but also expressing gratitude for their very existence, acknowledging that without His mercy, they would have nothing. Beyond prayer, gratitude is embedded in every aspect of Islamic worship. Fasting during Ramadan, for example, is not just an exercise in self-restraint, but a profound lesson in gratitude. Depriving oneself of food and water, even for a short period, cultivates a deep appreciation for these everyday blessings. It reminds believers of the millions who struggle with hunger and scarcity, fostering a sense of empathy and gratitude that extends beyond personal well-being. When the fast is broken at sunset, the simple act of drinking water and eating dates becomes an experience of immense appreciation, reinforcing the idea that even the smallest blessings are gifts from Allah. Charity, another fundamental pillar of Islam, is an outward expression of gratitude. When a believer gives to those in need, they acknowledge that their wealth is not purely a result of their own efforts, but a trust from Allah. Islam teaches that giving to others is not a loss, but a means of increasing one's blessings. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, emphasized that charity purifies wealth and brings divine reward, illustrating that true gratitude is demonstrated through action. By helping those who have less, a believer expresses thankfulness not just in words, but in meaningful deeds. Gratitude also plays a significant role in supplication and remembrance of Allah. One of the most beloved phrases in Islam is Alhamdulillah, meaning all praise and thanks are due to Allah. This simple yet powerful expression encapsulates the essence of worship, serving as a constant reminder that every breath, every heartbeat, and every opportunity in life is a reason to be grateful. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, often encouraged his companions to engage in dhikr, the remembrance of Allah, as a way to nurture gratitude and strengthen their faith. He himself embodied this practice, regularly praising and thanking Allah, even in the face of hardship. Gratitude, when understood as an act of worship, transforms the way a believer interacts with the world. It shifts focus away from complaints and discontent, replacing them with a sense of peace and contentment. It fosters humility by reminding individuals that everything they possess is a gift, not an entitlement. It also strengthens faith, as recognizing Allah's blessings naturally leads to greater devotion and trust in His wisdom. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, exemplified this through his unwavering gratitude, whether in times of ease or difficulty, teaching that true servitude to Allah begins with a heart filled with thankfulness. Ultimately, gratitude in Islam is more than just an acknowledgement of blessings. It is a way of drawing closer to Allah. Every act of worship, whether prayer, fasting, charity, or remembrance, serves as a means of expressing thanks. A grateful heart is one that finds joy in worship, recognizes the mercy of its Creator, and understands that every moment is an opportunity to offer thanks. Through gratitude, a believer not only fulfills their duty to Allah, but also experiences the profound peace and fulfillment that comes with acknowledging and appreciating the countless blessings bestowed upon them. Gratitude is not only a religious obligation in Islam, but also a powerful force that transforms the human mind and soul. It has profound psychological and spiritual benefits, shaping the way a person views the world, interacts with others, and copes with life's challenges. When a believer develops an attitude of gratitude, they experience a deep sense of contentment, an inner peace that is independent of external circumstances. Instead of focusing on what they lack, they appreciate what they have, which leads to a life filled with positivity and fulfillment. Psychologically, gratitude has the ability to shift a person's perspective. Modern research has shown that those who practice gratitude regularly experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. This aligns perfectly with Islamic teachings, which emphasize the importance of remembering and acknowledging blessings. When a person constantly reflects on what they have instead of what they don't, their mental state changes. The mind stops dwelling on scarcity and begins to focus on abundance. This creates a sense of emotional well-being, as gratitude rewires the brain to focus on positive aspects of life rather than dwelling on negativity. Gratitude also strengthens resilience, allowing a person to navigate difficulties with a sense of peace. Life is filled with ups and downs, and no one is immune to trials. However, when an individual approaches hardships with gratitude, they develop a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. Islam teaches that even in difficult moments there are hidden blessings. A believer who trusts in Allah's wisdom and remains grateful, even in times of hardship, finds themselves able to endure trials with greater patience and optimism. This is why gratitude and patience are often linked in Islamic teachings. A grateful person understands that every challenge carries a lesson, every difficulty comes with relief, and every hardship is an opportunity to draw closer to Allah. On a spiritual level, gratitude deepens faith and strengthens the connection between a believer and their Creator. The more a person recognizes their blessings, the more they feel a sense of closeness to Allah. They begin to see His mercy in everything around them, from the smallest details of life to the greatest moments of joy. This awareness fosters a heart that is constantly in a state of remembrance. When a believer acknowledges that every breath, every heartbeat, and every moment is a gift from Allah, their acts of worship become more meaningful. Prayer is no longer just an obligation. It becomes an expression of love and appreciation. Charity is no longer just an act of giving. It becomes a sincere demonstration of gratitude for the wealth that has been entrusted to them. Gratitude turns every moment into an opportunity to worship, making faith an active and living experience. In addition to strengthening faith, gratitude also improves relationships. A grateful person is more compassionate, kind, and patient with others. They recognize that just as they have been blessed, they have a duty to share those blessings with others. This makes them more empathetic and generous, leading to stronger bonds with family, friends, and the community. Gratitude eliminates jealousy, envy, and resentment, as a person who is content with what they have does not waste energy comparing themselves to others. Instead, they appreciate what they have been given and wish well for others, creating an environment of peace and harmony. One of the most beautiful aspects of gratitude is that it is contagious. When a person radiates gratitude, they inspire those around them to adopt the same mindset. A grateful heart spreads positivity, uplifting the spirits of others and fostering a culture of appreciation and kindness. This is why Islam places such a strong emphasis on gratitude, not only as an individual practice, but as a way to create a better society. When people acknowledge their blessings, they become more mindful of their actions, more generous in their interactions, and more conscious of their responsibilities toward others. Ultimately, gratitude is one of the most transformative forces in life. It enhances psychological well-being, builds resilience, strengthens faith, and improves relationships. It shifts focus from complaints to appreciation, from scarcity to abundance, and from entitlement to humility. It is a form of worship that not only pleases Allah but also brings immense benefits to the one who practices it. A heart filled with gratitude is a heart that experiences true peace, knowing that every blessing, no matter how small, is a gift from the most merciful. Gratitude is most meaningful when it is actively practiced in daily life. It is not just a thought or an occasional verbal expression, but a way of living that reflects an awareness of the countless blessings received from Allah. A grateful person sees every moment as an opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate what they have, turning gratitude into an ongoing act of worship. One of the simplest ways to cultivate gratitude is through daily remembrance of Allah. Saying Alhamdulillah regularly is a powerful way to acknowledge blessings, no matter how big or small. This constant verbal expression of thanks reinforces mindfulness, keeping the heart connected to the source of all blessings. Acts of worship themselves serve as daily reminders of gratitude. The 5 daily prayers, beyond being obligations, offer structured moments to pause and reflect on the gifts of life, health, and guidance. Each prayer is a chance to express thanks, not just through words, but through physical submission, recognizing that everything one has is granted by Allah. Making dua with sincerity, thanking Allah for specific blessings, and asking for guidance in using those blessings wisely, strengthens the bond between a believer and their Creator. When gratitude is consciously integrated into prayer and supplication, it transforms worship into a deeply personal and meaningful experience. Another powerful way to express gratitude is by sharing blessings with others. When a person recognizes that their wealth, knowledge, and abilities are gifts, they feel a natural inclination to give, whether through charity, helping a friend in need, or simply showing kindness to a stranger. Acts of generosity become an expression of thankfulness. Islam teaches that giving does not reduce one's wealth, but rather increases it, both spiritually and materially. A person who regularly gives to others finds themselves more content, as their gratitude manifests not just in words, but in meaningful actions that benefit others. Caring for one's health and well-being is another way to demonstrate gratitude. The body is a trust from Allah, and maintaining it through proper nourishment, exercise, and rest is a form of thankfulness. Appreciating the ability to move, breathe, and think means taking care of these gifts instead of neglecting them. Eating mindfully, avoiding harmful habits, and treating the body with respect are ways to honor the blessings given. The same principle applies to emotional and mental well-being. Maintaining a positive mindset, avoiding unnecessary stress, and fostering good relationships are part of recognizing and valuing the peace and stability one has been granted. Gratitude also extends to relationships with family, friends, and the wider community. Expressing thanks to people, whether for their kindness, support, or even their presence, strengthens bonds and spreads positivity. Islam places great importance on showing appreciation, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stated that those who do not thank people do not truly thank Allah. A kind word, a heartfelt acknowledgement, or even a simple smile can serve as a reflection of gratitude. Relationships flourish when appreciation is openly expressed, fostering an atmosphere of love, respect, and harmony. Mindfulness and reflection further enhance gratitude in daily life. Taking a few moments each day to reflect on blessings fosters a deeper awareness of how much one has been given. Writing down things to be thankful for, contemplating the wonders of nature, or observing the simple joys of life strengthens a person's sense of appreciation. When a believer actively notices the countless ways in which Allah's mercy is present, their perspective shifts, making them more patient, content, and hopeful. Gratitude also changes the way difficulties are perceived. Instead of viewing challenges as burdens, a grateful person sees them as opportunities for growth and a reminder to trust in Allah's plan. Even in hardship, there are hidden blessings, lessons learned, character refined, and faith strengthened. A grateful heart finds peace in knowing that everything happens with divine wisdom and that Allah's mercy extends even in times of difficulty. Ultimately, gratitude is a way of life, a conscious decision to focus on what has been given rather than what is missing. It transforms prayer into a moment of connection, generosity into a form of appreciation, health into a responsibility, relationships into cherished bonds, and challenges into opportunities for growth. It is a force that brings contentment, strengthens faith, and deepens one's connection to Allah. Through consistent practice, gratitude becomes more than an occasional expression. It becomes an ongoing state of being, enriching every aspect of life with peace, fulfillment, and spiritual clarity. Ingratitude is one of the most dangerous conditions of the heart, leading a person away from contentment, humility, and ultimately, faith itself. In Islam, ingratitude is known as kufr an-ni'mah, a term that signifies both a rejection of blessings and a failure to recognize their source. The Quran repeatedly warns against this state, illustrating how ungrateful individuals fall into arrogance, heedlessness, and spiritual loss. Gratitude, on the other hand, is a form of acknowledgement that strengthens the bond between the servant and the Creator, while ingratitude severs that connection, leaving the heart empty and restless. One of the most striking consequences of ingratitude is its ability to blind a person to the countless blessings that surround them. When someone is ungrateful, they focus only on what they lack rather than appreciating what they have. This leads to constant dissatisfaction, an endless pursuit of more, and an inability to find peace. No amount of wealth, success, or material gain can satisfy a person who refuses to acknowledge the blessings already in their possession. This cycle of discontentment creates an insatiable craving for more, causing a person to become trapped in a state of greed and resentment. The Quran presents the story of Qarun as a warning against the dangers of ingratitude. Qarun was a man blessed with immense wealth, yet instead of attributing his success to Allah, he arrogantly claimed that his riches were a result of his own knowledge and efforts. His failure to recognize the true source of his blessings led to his downfall, as he was swallowed by the earth along with his wealth. This story serves as a reminder that when people become consumed by their own achievements and forget the role of divine mercy in their lives, they risk losing everything. Arrogance and self-sufficiency breed ingratitude, cutting a person off from the very source of their prosperity. Ingratitude also hardens the heart, making a person less empathetic and generous. When someone fails to appreciate what they have, they struggle to share with others. Gratitude fosters kindness, but ingratitude fosters selfishness. A person who sees their blessings as purely their own achievement will be less inclined to help those in need, forgetting that their wealth, health, and success are all tests from Allah. When gratitude is absent, so is compassion. And when compassion disappears, society becomes filled with greed, envy, and injustice. Beyond its worldly effects, ingratitude has severe consequences for the soul. The Quran describes how those who are ungrateful ultimately turn away from Allah, replacing their reliance on Him with a false sense of independence. When people fail to recognize their dependence on their Creator, they drift further from faith, losing the peace and contentment that come with submission to Allah's will. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned that true gratitude is not just about words but about actions. Those who express gratitude sincerely are given more, while those who reject it suffer from a deep emptiness that no amount of worldly gain can fill. Gratitude brings light to the heart, but ingratitude darkens it, leaving a person restless, anxious, and disconnected from the true purpose of life. Gratitude has the power to completely transform a person's life, shifting their perspective from dissatisfaction to contentment, from anxiety to peace, and from entitlement to humility. When a person embraces gratitude as a way of life, they begin to see the world through a different lens, appreciating the blessings they once overlooked. It is not just about acknowledging what is good, but about recognizing that even difficulties carry hidden wisdom. A grateful heart does not dwell on what is missing, but finds joy in what is present, creating an unshakable sense of inner peace. One of the most immediate effects of practicing gratitude is the change in mindset. A person who consistently reflects on their blessings is less likely to fall into the trap of comparison. In a world that constantly pushes people to desire more, to chase after what others have, and to feel incomplete until they reach a certain status, gratitude serves as an anchor. It reminds a person that fulfillment is not found in acquiring more, but in appreciating what already exists. This shift brings a deep sense of contentment, allowing a person to enjoy life without the constant feeling of lack. Gratitude also has the power to heal relationships. When a person actively expresses appreciation for the people in their life, their relationships grow stronger. A spouse who acknowledges and thanks their partner for even the smallest acts of kindness fosters love and respect. A child who appreciates their parents develops a deeper bond with them. A friend who expresses gratitude for companionship strengthens the connection. When gratitude is regularly practiced, it removes feelings of resentment and entitlement, replacing them with warmth and understanding. Another profound benefit of gratitude is its ability to provide strength during hardships. Life is filled with challenges, and no one is exempt from trials. However, a grateful person approaches difficulties with a different mindset. Instead of seeing obstacles as punishments, they see them as lessons. Instead of focusing on what they have lost, they focus on what remains. This attitude of gratitude does not mean ignoring pain or pretending that struggles do not exist. Rather, it means trusting that every experience has a purpose. A grateful person finds peace even in difficulty, knowing that Allah's wisdom is beyond human understanding. Gratitude also enhances spiritual connection. When a believer consistently acknowledges Allah's blessings, their faith deepens. They become more mindful in prayer, more sincere in supplication, and more aware of their dependence on Allah. Their acts of worship become infused with love and appreciation, transforming routine rituals into meaningful experiences. A grateful heart remembers Allah in every moment, not just in times of need, but in times of ease as well. A life of gratitude is a life of abundance, not necessarily in material wealth, but in spiritual richness. The more a person practices gratitude, the more they attract peace, contentment, and divine blessings. It is a choice that requires effort, but once embraced, it has the power to change not just one's outlook, but their entire experience of life itself. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you. It is about living with a heart full of appreciation for every moment, every opportunity, and every blessing, seen and unseen. Gratitude is not just a virtue. It is a way of life that shapes a person's relationship with themselves, with others, and most importantly, with their Creator. It is through gratitude that one finds purpose, recognizing that life itself is a gift, and that every moment, every breath, and every blessing is an opportunity to express appreciation. The journey of gratitude leads to a deeper understanding of existence, transforming the way a person perceives the world. When gratitude is embraced, the heart becomes more content, the mind becomes clearer, and the soul finds peace in the recognition that everything comes from Allah. Life is filled with tests, blessings, and uncertainties, yet gratitude provides the stability needed to navigate them all. A person who lives with gratitude sees challenges as opportunities for growth and understands that even hardships carry divine wisdom. They do not wait for perfection to be thankful, nor do they base their gratitude on what they receive. Instead, they cultivate a mindset that finds reasons to be grateful in every circumstance, knowing that Allah's mercy is always present, even when it is not immediately visible. This perspective allows them to live without resentment, without bitterness, and without the constant feeling of lack, because they have learned to appreciate what they have, rather than dwell on what they do not. True gratitude is not just about words, but about action. It is about using one's blessings wisely, sharing them with others, and living in a way that reflects appreciation for all that has been given. A grateful person does not hoard their wealth, but gives in charity, recognizing that their provisions are a trust from Allah. They do not take their health for granted, but care for their body as an amana. They do not neglect their relationships, but nurture them with kindness and appreciation. Gratitude extends beyond verbal praise and becomes a way of living that honors the blessings bestowed upon them. The ultimate purpose of life is to recognize and worship the Creator, and gratitude is one of the purest forms of worship. Every act of obedience, every moment of patience, every decision to do good is a means of expressing thanks. The more a person acknowledges Allah's favors, the more they are drawn closer to Him. Worship becomes more than an obligation. It becomes a joy, a privilege, and a source of fulfillment. Gratitude keeps the heart connected to its Creator, reminding it that everything is temporary except the one who gives and sustains. A life lived with gratitude is a life of peace, contentment, and abundance, not necessarily in material wealth, but in spiritual richness. It is a life free from the constant chase for more, free from dissatisfaction, and free from the negativity that stems from ingratitude. Those who master gratitude find that they already possess everything they need to be happy, because true happiness is not in accumulation, but in appreciation. The more one thanks, the more one receives, not only in blessings, but in clarity, in tranquility, and in a deep and unshakable sense of fulfillment. And that brings us to the end of this discussion on gratitude in Islam. May we always recognize the countless blessings surrounding us and use them to draw closer to Allah. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reflections on faith and spirituality. Until next time, stay grateful, stay blessed, and keep seeking knowledge.